This is a Sessions video tutorial, Puddles off of Puddles.
Let's explore how to mix skin tones and apply them in your paintings. The Puddles off of Puddles method that I use basically describes starting off with a large amount of base skin tone and then adjusting that skin tone in temperature and value, branching off of the main puddle. So I can start out with this main puddle and then adjust it to the cooler end, maybe greener end, the cooler blue end, redder, yellower. And that way, I can keep a harmony throughout the painting since all these colors have come from this original pile. They have a common ancestry. I don't like skin tone formulas. There's really no one color fits all situation. But I like starting out with this mixture. I've got a cadmium red light and a cadmium yellow medium. And there are variations of this. Instead of using cad red light and cad yellow medium, you could use, for instance, alizarin crimson for your red and yellow ochre for your yellow, which would be a cooler, more subdued version of this base pile. But really any red and any yellow, you'll come up with sort of this peach color mixed with a healthy amount of white. This is where the puddles start to branch off of this main puddle. One thing I should note is I've mixed up a healthy amount of this. I don't want to run out of this base skin tone halfway through the painting, because if I have to remix this color, it's not going to end up quite the same. The ratios won't quite be the same. So you don't want to have to keep remixing this skin tone. So maybe I'll find that in part of the face, the temperature leans towards the cooler side, maybe the cooler green side. I'll take a little bit of terre verte, this green, and just add a little bit and nudge it a little bit in the green direction. And you see how substantially that cools this mix down. If I want to make it hotter, redder, warmer, I can take a red, a little bit of it, pull off some of this main skin pile, and I have a very hot, warm red. This might come in handy for cheeks, hands, other areas of the body that are warmer in nature. If I want to mix some umber in, pull off a puddle mixed with umber. Again, similar cooling effect to the green. But in any case, I can nudge this skin tone in any direction I want. And as I work my way out and branch my way out, I can adjust this to any subtle shade or color that can be found on the model. So the first thing I'm going to do is test the skin tone on the painting. So any color on the palette is going to appear slightly different on the palette than it will up here based on its surroundings. If I put down a swath of that, it's the rough range of where I want to work. I feel like the value is too high. So that's where I'm going to come off of the main puddle and value adjust by adding other colors to the mix, perhaps a blue. And you see the rather subtle difference that is emerging between these different branches coming off of the main pile. This is sort of a new line of development that I can build out. With each step, I get a little bit closer to where I want to be. If I'm having trouble picking out the actual local color of what's going on up there, I'll think of it in terms of primaries. Does a color edge towards red, yellow, or blue? And in the cheek, it edges towards the red. Around the mouth and the chin, where facial hair is right under the surface, it tends to be cooler, bluer. So I'll use that reasoning as I mix these puddles. When I'm trying to find my skin tone that is going to be the general theme of the picture, I have to do some searching. I'm nudging the color in different directions until I find something that feels right. And the more I work on this, the more I'll branch out to the rest of the palette. I'll use all this space eventually. So each skin tone, whether it's a light or a shadow, will have a component of red, whether it's a cool red or warm red, a yellow, cool or warm, I'm using ochre, which is cooler, and blue. Color isn't as apparent in shadows. Shadows, again, are almost nothing regions where light isn't reaching and bringing out the color. So I can afford to have a more ambiguous tone here. Up there, the shadow's slightly warm. I think towards the more orange direction. So I'll add yellow and red and a bit of white to bring out some of that color. And I'll try that out. In general, I like my shadows to be wispier, airier, whereas I want the parts where light hits to be the more substantive, built-up areas. It's important in the painting, in the end, not to have clashing colors. Those could be clashing values. They could be clashing saturations. Oftentimes, you see saturation pushed so far that the skin tones from one area of the face to the other look completely disparate, clashing. They don't look like part of the same substance. So with Puddles off of Puddles, there is a harmony kept. And on your palette, you can see the full range of the colors you're working with. And if they don't work on the palette, then they most likely won't work on the face. I hope you enjoyed this video on mixing and painting skin tones in your portraits. Try my Puddles off of Puddles approach in your own work. You'll like it.
Did you like this video? Then subscribe today to stay up to date on our channel or follow us on Google+, Twitter, and Facebook. Visit sessions.edu for more info on classes and admissions. Also, don't forget to check out the links to free downloadable content in the description. Thanks for watching.